So today I tore apart 3 wheels to make one. So I had 2 wheels left over from when I bought the Miraco bike. And I wasn't going to use those because they were non-sealed, so I was just like, I mean, the cassette is technically sealed. However, the driver for the cassette is a piece of crap and it's open ball bearing, so I'm like, that's not completely all sealed, so toodaloo to that. So I despoked both of those, and I had a sealed 48 wheel, but it had silver. I guess they'd be silver spokes. But if I put it on the bike, the rear wheel that I'm running on it right now, that has black spokes. So, due diligence, I was like, got all these spokes from these other wheels, might as well throw them on there. So what I was trying to do was do an advanced 4-cross 48 with it. Originally it had 3-cross, and I ended up getting the wheel all basically broken down. I rebuilt the internals on it. I mean, it's front wheel, so basically it was really easy. Repacked all the bearings and cleaned the spindle up, and the spindle looked like it was probably 2000, 2002, and it was stored in a wet climate. So basically northern New York, not upstate New York, northern, like near Canada. So it had a lot of rust on it, which was a pain in the ass to actually break the axle down so I could actually get the bearings out. I repacked the bearings after I did some I forgot what that Raceline lube is, but it's basically chain lube. If you got bearings that you know that are really dirty, the easiest way to clean them, don't gas them. That'll dry them out like massively, and then while you're spinning it, you're scarring up the races. So if you can't clean them by packing them, you put chain lube in them and then basically free spin them by hand. Don't do the old exploding ball bearing trick with the air nozzle. That actually does explode. And I ran them for a little bit until they basically didn't feel really gritty, but you could feel a little bit of grit in them. So I ran them by hand long enough that the grit went away. I took it all back apart and opened up the seals on the bearings and repacked them with green stuff. I could have put red, but I wanted to roll a little bit, so I the green stuff is nice because once it gets a little warm, it liquefies. So that's fine. I'm probably gonna have to tear them back apart probably in a couple weeks anyways and actually do a finish clean on it. But the hub itself was fully rebuilt, or maintenanced. I mean, if you don't have to replace the bearings and you're doing a rebuild and cleaning them brings them back to new, then technically it's a rebuild. I couldn't extract the silver spokes from those 48s because the nipples were they basically were like rust locked onto the onto the spokes themselves, because it was a stainless steel spoke system with aluminum nipples. And yeah, aluminum doesn't like any other metal other than aluminum. So over time, oxidation built up in them, and you couldn't break them free. I mean, I was stripping them out left and right, trying to like use the nipple tool and spoke wrench, and grabbing them from the backside with the flathead, and trying to break them free that way. I even did pre-lube on all of them too. I mean, they didn't move. So got out the side cutters and just cut all the spokes on it. Ghetto. But so removing those from the wheel itself freed up the rim, and I went through the rim and used a Neverdol and brought back all the anodizing to almost factory snuff. I Neverdoled the inside as well and did a quick hard wipe down on them. Basically a dry towel just to take off the Neverdol like leftovers or whatever you want to call it. If you leave it on there, it'll turn white. So, and it's part of the polishing process too. So I got that all off. The rim looks brand new. I never dulled the hub as well, and so hub and rim look brand fucking new. I mean, other than like, you know, minor scratches. I basically picked out 48 of the best spokes that I had of those two other rims, and I got the spokes all ready. I cleaned up all the threads on all of the spokes. Again, never dull. A couple of the spokes had wear marks on them where basically they were rusting through, so the Neverdol kind of worked on that, but they're not completely black, like 100%. They're like 97% black. Like, the majority of them are black, except for a couple of them that got, you know, scuffed from spokes rubbing up against each other from idiots running spokes loose. And so it ended up taking me about an hour and a half to do quad lacing. Triple lacing 36s is easy. Quad lacing 48s, you don't have room. So it's really, really tough to actually quad lace a 48, especially on high flange. So that being said, rim's all set up. All I have to basically do now is take the front wheel off of the bike and actually use the brake pads to finish true it. And because I think it was one of the rims was running a 188 spoke. I don't know why. I think it was because of the fact that one rim was a triple lace. I mean a triple cross spoke orientation, and the other one was a double cross, which would make sense. I mean, one of them was the front and one of them was the rear. And normally, basically, like, to save weight, they will usually take the front and do a double on it on the lower end bikes. On upper end bikes, it's triple cross 36 the whole time, unless you got robbed. So I got a bunch of spokes now that are basically 188 and a handful of spokes that are 184. Standard size is 180. Most of the time when you're building a 48, you used 180. So I put it all together, and noticed that basically it was sitting off to the side a little bit because of those fucking 188s. And so what I ended up doing is I have a special screwdriver bit that actually has a hole in the center, and I can actually take the spoke and bring it into the inside of the wheel a little bit, and I'll probably end up using the Dremel and trimming it down. So no harm, no foul. And there theoretically should be enough thread on the nipples, and there should be enough thread on the spokes to inlay it, the couple millimeters that I need to actually extend it through. And then once it's all done and I use the Dremel to shave them down, theoretically, once I'm shaving them down, I should be hitting the top of the nipple as well, and it should make it so that the nipples are less prone to actually ripping through the interior sleeve. So, that being said, the bike will be on full 48s. Because right now the rear is a 48 and the front is a 36, and I want to get rid of the 36 front and put some weight on the bike. Even though this is a really high-end 48, it actually kind of weighs as little as the sealed 36 that's on it as well. They're both 14 millimeters, so strength-wise, they're both pretty much the same. I'm only doing it to add weight. Then once that's all said and done, I'll basically take them off to a shop and have them guys actually put them on a truing stand and finish them up. No sense of bringing the wheel there right now and and having them basically tell me straight up, hey man, you got the wrong spokes on. Fuck you, man. Just fucking Dremel the bitches. So I'm gonna have it all basically set up and I'm gonna get the tolerance down to 1 to 2 millimeter of slack back and forth and up and down, and that'll basically make their job a lot easier. It's a 48. I don't expect them to charge me the normal $20 to true it, because it's a lot of spokes. I mean, we're talking 12 extra spokes. Doesn't sound like that much, but when you're truing, 36 is a lot of spokes. Now add another 12 on top of it. They're like, what the fuck, man? Most people will be able to true a 36 in around I don't know, half an hour. 48s are a little bit harder because of the fact that they're stiffer. So when it comes down to you're pulling on one side of the rim, sometimes it'll actually gnaw at the other side. It's more prone to doing that on a 48 than it is on a 36. 36, basically, you set up a torque wrench and you just lunge all of the nipples down to a really light amount of torque, and then that's when you set it up on a truing stand. That's the reason why basically if you ever watch a manufacturer that builds wheels, when it goes into the computer controlled fucking robot machine that basically tightens up all the spokes, it's technically truing it as well, but at the same time, if it's a good company, then they send it off to another guy and then he manually checks it. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'm doing it really quick, and then I'm going to be basically giving it to somebody else, and he can do the precise shit with the bench. And both front and rear wheels will pretty much be dead on, and it'll be ready for hopefully vert. If not, I'll just go street riding with it. And if I do street riding with it, I'll probably put 36s back on it. Or probably build another set of 36s. I mean, I got the hubs and I got the rims. I mean, it only takes 2 seconds to actually lace up 36. It's not that hard to actually lace up 36. And, just get high quality fucking spokes, double lace them, call it a fucking day. And then you too can be the guy that's at the park exploding spokes. But triple lacing is the way to go. And if you have an issue that when it comes down to spoke tension and everything, and you notice that your wheels are stiff as shit with a 36 spoke and all of your spokes are tight, what we used to do back in the day with 48s, because 48s would get loose over time, because we really rode hard. We take zip ties and, like, on the main cross, not the little tiny crosses, but like the ones that basically like the triangle to the other cross, like the larger of the triangles. Usually, basically, that's where we would hit it up with a zip tie. It doesn't take like a really crazy ass zip tie. All you're doing is basically telling that spoke you can't, do this. And once you basically do that, you turn two spokes into one pretty much. It's kind of like what they do now and on really, really hardcore custom wheels, and they corkscrew the spokes. Just, if you ask me, it's kind of stupid because there's no way of adjustment after that. You better have it dead on when you're fucking putting it together because, you're going to be fucked. So, that being said, that's my update for today. I'll post a video of the prep work because I plan on actually doing it to this wheel. So tomorrow, if I can actually get it set correctly today, so it's not embarrassing when I'm fucking spinning it around and everybody can clearly see it on the video, fucking moving all over the fucking place. I'm optimistic that I'll be able to get it to that point, but hey, if it doesn't fucking get it straight, don't hold me to it because I'm sending it off to a shop to actually get fucking situated later on. So the video is basically going to be about brake prep on this one because of the fact that this isn't a machine surface like sidewall of the rim either. So it's basically another rim that has anodizing on it. And you guys get to actually see a 48 front, which is fucking rare as shit right now. So I'll see you when I see you.